Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. The hype train is in full effect. It's the new Lattafa Khamrah Waha. This stuff has been getting the business. Everybody and their mom talking about this and how good it is. Let's go, boy.
My mother's coming.
That's what she said. That got me pretty excited. So I had to go ahead and pick it up. I actually bought 2 boxes of the stuff, so I'm gonna give one away to one of you guys. This one I bought directly from Lattafa. I also bought one from eBay. And I paid too much. That one's not here yet. That one's supposed to get here tomorrow. Basically what happened was this was showing sold out on Lattafa's website, so I was like, well, heck with it, I'll just buy it from eBay. And later that same day, it popped back up for sale again on Lattafa's website, so I bought it there too. Yay. So like I said, this thing's been getting mad hype. Basically, this is the new fresh Lattafa, but how good is it really? I'm gonna go over with you guys how it smells to me, what it smells similar to, and whether or not it's worth picking up. But first, let's take a look at this presentation real quick. Starting with the box. On the front, got the name of the house, name of the fragrance as well. On top, you have Lattafa. On one side, you have the little sticker of authenticity, as well as another smaller sticker in the corner. On the back, you have your size, concentration, ingredients, caution, all of that. It is an eau de parfum concentration. Then on the bottom, your badge code, your barcode. My bottle was made this month. And here we've got the bottle. This is your typical Khamrah styling, now with a new frosted cap. Also, the fragrance has kind of a teal coloration to it this time. Get the name of the fragrance, name of the house right there on the front. Silver sticker as well. You got Lattafa on top of the cap, sticker on the bottom of the bottle, and the cap does click into place. Let's go ahead and do a couple sprays. Here we go. Nice. All right, so there's a lot to unpack here. As far as what I paid, 50 bucks for this one, close to 100 for the one from eBay. That's my fault though, that's my fault. And the original Khamrah, one of the most popular fragrances out there today, kind of smells similar to Gisa Sava, also kind of in the style of Angel Share by Killian, by Killian. And it's so popular at this point that a lot of people will be like, nah, Khamrah is just kind of its own deal to an extent. But none of that matters right now. What matters is how Khamrah Waha smells. So how does it smells? Well, I'll tell you this much, the opening to me, awesome. Love the way that it opens up. Really nice fruity pop, some citrus initially when you first spray this on. It's sparkling, it's fresh, it's sweet. It's a little bit airy as well, so you have this really nice ozonic kind of vibe there when you first spray it on. It just has this immediate lift to it that leaves a great first impression when you smell the stuff. Now, it does have sweetness, like I just mentioned. Sweet! And it can come across on skin slightly syrupy when you first spray it on. Now it's balanced out nicely because again, it's very fresh in the opening as well. So it's not just like straight up diabetes coming across, but it does have a decent amount of syrupy sweetness kind of underneath that initial fresh singy pop. As that opening starts to settle in, you do get a little bit of the cucumber that comes across, kind of an interesting note. Definitely the one that stands out the most when you look at the note breakdown, because you're like, okay, citrus, yuzu, bergamot, yeah, that's good, that's good. Ambrifix, that makes sense. And cucumber. Huh? Okay. Now the cucumber note that's in here is not hyper strong, and that makes sense because cucumber by itself is pretty watery smelling, right? So that cucumber note itself, to me anyway, comes across more like cucumber water. If you took like a little spoonful of sugar and maybe a little salt and mixed it together in that cucumber water, it's kind of like that. And it blends together really well with the citrus and that kind of airiness that this scent opens up with. So it's there, it's just not necessarily the star of the show. And depending on how much you key in on that cucumber, it may even just kind of blend into the background. Now, one thing that I do want to bring up really quickly is that this does not, to me, smell at all like Ginger Dash or Roses on Ice from by Killian. So when this was first announced, looking at the note breakdown, the styling of the bottle and all that stuff, and you know, the line that it's in, I was thinking maybe they're gonna take it that direction. Maybe like a blend of those two, something like that, but not really. So I just wanted to put that out really quickly. If you're looking for this potentially as like an alternative to those, don't even think about it, it's not the same thing. Now, as that opening further settles, as it starts to head into the mid, this one starts to take on bits and pieces of similarities of some other really popular fragrances, but not close enough to be an actual alternative or dupe for them. So it kind of takes on this fresh plus sweet vibe for a little while that a lot of other big designer fragrances have done. So it could remind you a little bit of stuff like the Le Beau line by Jean Paul Gaultier, a little bit of the sweetness almost reminiscent of the Y line. I would say between those two, a little closer to the JPG, but it's kind of reminiscent in bits of that. But like I said, not close enough to actually be an alternative for those. More so like you're wearing this and you smell it and a little bit of the fragrance reminds you of some of those sometimes. So that may leave you feeling like it's not super original, the fragrance itself, but the opening anyway, really competently done, smells very nice. Great mix of aromatic lift, of an ozonic freshness, and nice sweetness from that fruit when you first spray it on. And as you head through the mid, it actually starts to flip, everything starts to change. You get more of that Khamrah essence that starts to bubble up. So it's kind of weird in a way. You go from this opening that's really attention grabbing and bright and sweet and fresh and all of this, and then you start to feel like from the background, Khamrah starts to get like shoehorned in there, starts to get pushed in there a little bit. It's still fresh, it's still fresher than the other Khamrah fragrances for sure, but you start to get some of that sweetness, a little bit of that warmth coming across in the classic Khamrah style. You get a tonka, ambery sort of undertone that becomes more and more prominent as well as it heads through the mid. And those fresher facets from the opening, they linger for a little while into the mid, but they start to dissipate and you get more of an aromatic greenery that comes up kind of over top of the Khamrah sort of sweetness that's underneath. And it also gets this minerality, kind of an oddly semi-sweet minerality, just kind of like a strange texture that I pick up sometimes when I'm smelling the fragrance. And it's not that it smells gross, not that that's ever a great way to begin a description. It's not that it smells gross. Like when that's the beginning, you know what's coming after is like, oh, probably not gonna be good. But for me, once you start hitting the mid, it's like this thing starts to fall off the rails a little bit. It's like there's no clear direction. It's like it's doing everything in half measures, kind of splitting the difference. So it's like, is this full-on Khamrah? You know, is it really warm, sticky, sweet, sexy, you know, kind of an evening date night fragrance? No, it's not. Is it a full-bore, fresh reimagining where they're really leaning into the freshness? Not really, no. Is it a modern, fresh meat, sweet kind of vibe where they're both doing it in equal measure and it works out very well? Also, no, not really. To me, it's more like partial ideas that start to get pushed together and it actually starts to smell worse the longer that this is on your skin. So the opening here is great. I thought it smelled really, really nice, very appealing, strong as well. My wife liked it a lot. Other people I had smell it, they really enjoyed it. Once it hits the mid though, it's just kind of like remnants from the opening that are they're kind of there, but not really attention grabbing, and they don't blend together that well with the Khamrah facets that start coming up. And then you have, like I said, that aromatic minerality kind of mix going on, and it just doesn't really work. And the way that the sweetness hits in the mid, if you go really heavy, is potentially headache inducing. It's that sort of like sweetness that doesn't really hit in a way that's attractive. You know, it's not that kind of sweetness where you smell it and you're like, oh, that's amazing. To me, it's more that kind of sweetness where you smell it and you go, ugh, that's just kind of synthetic-y and not overly nice. So Cliff's Notes, basically the opening, really nice. As you start to head into the mid, the beginning part of the mid, not too bad. And then you start to get more of that Khamrah coming across, and then everything starts to feel muddled. Not apocalyptically bad, just not that great. But does the dry down save it? That's the most important part. Dry down lasts the longest. Well, before we get to that, codes. Right this millisecond as I'm filming this video, Khamrah Waha is not available at any of the big discounters, but it should be there any minute now. So I've got codes for Gift Express, for JOMASHOP, for Fragflex, Perfume Box, and many more stores. I'm not sure which one will get it first. Maybe Beauty House or JOMASHOP, probably one of those. But if you're looking for this or any other fragrances, you can use those codes at any of those stores to save yourself extra cash every time you shop there. I would have done it if I could have. Instead, I overpaid like a moron.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
All right, into the full dry down. Lattafa Waha basically simplifies things. It becomes more of an amber woody scent profile, definitely leaning more toward the woody side of things, especially compared to the other Khamrah fragrances that came before it. You've got some warm tonka alongside those woody notes, remnants from the mid, little bits of the aromatics carry over as well. The sweetness though, toned way down once you hit the full dry down. So some fragrances you have like a bunch of vanilla that comes out in a big way as it dries. This one is actually sweeter in the opening and the mid, once you hit that full dry down, most of that sweetness fades away. And I would say between the opening, the mid, and the dry down is the most forgettable part, for better or worse. It's very so-so. Not that it smells bad, just that it's not really that kind of thing where you remember it and you want to go back and wear it again and wear it again and wear it again. Kind of comes across like that. And off a tester strip, that opening lingers. It smells awesome. But the mid and especially the dry down, they leave a lot to be desired. So the way that you can think about it is if the opening is the part that really grabs attention, and then the mid is the part where it kind of loses its identity a little bit and tries to do, 3 different things at once, none of them particularly well. The dry down is the fragrance equivalent of wallpaper. And not fancy wallpaper, just a very plain geometric pattern that your mom or grandma slathered onto the wall. You just go, oh yeah, that's good, that's nice. Really ties the room together. It's good.
I mean, it's all right, like, overrated as
So unfortunately for me, this just doesn't really hit what I want to wear. I spent $50 for this bottle, $100 for the other one. And when you spend your own money on stuff and you get it in, there's a certain expectation. Like, I want it to be this good. I want it to be usable in these situations. I want it to grab attention. I want it to boost my confidence. And with the first spray, I was like, this stuff is really, really good. I was thinking this is an amazing detour compared to the other Khamrah fragrances that came before it. Then the opening ended and I went,
this is the worst.
This is the worst Khamrah so far. And it ain't close. You could maybe give some points that it is different because Khamrah Waha, Khamrah Dukhan, like, they're, pretty similar to the original. You can tell that they went in and they adjusted some stuff and tweaked some stuff, added some notes and things like that, but they kept the core structure pretty much the same. This one, they changed it much more, but it kind of falls apart in doing so. At least for me, with my initial wears. Now let's talk performance, seasonality, and then just really quickly the overall pros and cons. So in terms of seasonality, we're talking spring through fall. I know a lot of people are gonna say this is like summertime in a bottle. This is, oh, look at it, it's so blue and fresh. But this isn't really what I think of as a quintessential summertime fragrance. For me, it's probably more spring and fall, like late spring, early fall. Now you can absolutely wear it during summer, like I said, spring through fall, like any of those months. But this one is tricky. It opens up and smells initially like a summertime scent, for sure. Sweet, fruity, ozonic, great. But once that settles, it moves more into like neutral weather territory. And in terms of overall daytime or nighttime use, for me, it leans more toward daytime use. Performance here, really good. It's solid. It projects well, lasts well also. Not as strong as Khamrah Dukhan, but you wouldn't really expect that. So for this type of scent, really well done. Pros and cons, starting off with the pros. The first pro, bottle looks pretty good. I like the frosted glass cap. Nice. The next pro, the opening. Bright, sweet, fresh, airy, attention grabbing. Performance, solid, gets the job done. Also, if you like that modern, fresh meets sweet designer styling, the opening through the beginning of the mid is going to really appeal to you. Now the cons. The mid to me is muddied, full of half measures, and just doesn't really work all that well. And the sweetness at that point, if you overspray, is grating and potentially headache inducing. The dry down is forgettable. It's not really all that appealing. And it's trying to do too much without actually nailing down what it does best. As far as the overall smell, to me, it's easily the weakest in the entire Khamrah lineup, and it is massively overhyped for how good this actually is, which also leads to overpriced bottles on eBay. I think if you took this fragrance right here out of this bottle, you remove the Khamrah name, you remove the Lattafa name, you just put it into a random bottle from, I don't know, Riffs or Arabiat Prestige or something like that, charged $50, most people would not really care about this at all. The hype level would not be there. This is coasting on the power of its name. And I think that realistically, if I were to give this a 1 to 10 sort of rating right now, just based off first impressions, probably like a 5.5 to a 6, something like that. And most of that is because of the opening. The opening is good, like genuinely good. I think for a lot of people though who are buying this right now, this is gonna be one of those ones that they spray on, they check it out, and then they put it in the corner, leave it there for a couple months and go, I hope when I come back to it, it's better. I think though, just removing the Lattafa name, removing the Khamrah name, removing all the hype, this is just not close. I think just thinking about it very simply, you know, removing the name and all of that stuff, it's not close to the best thing I've smelled this year, as far as new releases. It's also not close to the best Middle Eastern thing I've smelled this year. It is very much a so-so release. It has some strengths, it's got a lot of weaknesses. Now I know after that rip-roaring endorsement, everybody's like, I have got to get one of those. And like I said, I've got a new one coming tomorrow, the one I paid more for, so one of you guys can have that one. If you want to be entered in the giveaway for Khamrah Waha, all you have to do is like the video, be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment down below. Just let me know what is your favorite Khamrah so far. If you haven't smelled any, you can say that still counts. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker posted up on the post tab of the YouTube channel. If you're the winner, hit me up and I will ship out that one to you, which again, should arrive tomorrow, assuming that the mail gets it to me safely. Yay, mail. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Unfortunately, Khamrah Waha. So, yeah. Thank you, guys. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.